Welcome to the Play-Ins knockout stage live from Berlin, Germany. This is the final hurdle on the road to groups as 8 teams are fighting for the last 4 spots. The undefeated Damwon Gaming are heavy favorites to make it there and kick off the action, along with low-key Esports from the VCS. And what a challenge ahead for the VCS representatives. You can see them entering the studio right now, and we'll see how well they play against Damwon. I'm Quickshot, happy to be joined by Ender and Spawn for today's first best of 5. Knockouts, it's Worlds, it's getting real serious now.
And so far, Play-Ins has gone exactly as planned, seeded all the way through. But today, there could be some upsets.
I'm like, the end result is exactly as planned. The way we got there, though, there were upsets, there was crazy Group A's, tiebreakers, we got it all.
Absolutely the case. Of course, once today's done, Spawn and I are going to grab a bevy at the RSL. The Play-Ins group stage had its fair share of surprises, but one consistent performer was Damwon Gaming. They dominated in arguably the most difficult group in Play-In stage. So, what do we make of how they got here?
Yeah, the group of death, and really it was Flamengo that were the ultimate people that suffered from this, because I think coming into this, Damwon Gaming, certainly the best seed 1 team in Play-Ins. Then you already throw in Royal, who had some fantastic performances as well. And this is one of those teams that is just explosive to watch on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, Damwon came in with some shaky early games, but at the end, it was very clear that they were the best team, not just in their group, but I think in all of Play-Ins. And at the same time, it was sort of surprising to see Royal come into that day 2 without a single win on the board, get that 2-0, including the tiebreaker match up against Flamengo just to qualify.
But Ender, LEC is in playing groups, and LEC is greater than LCK. So how is Splice not greater than Damwon?
Okay.
I've heard this around the office a lot this week.
No. LCK third is better than LEC third. I think LEC first greater than LCK first.
What about second? Ooh.
Oh, hold on.
That's a good question. Definitely, actually.
Gentlemen, you are getting ahead of yourselves because World's Group starts next week. First, we need to see if LCK 3 can beat VCS 2. I mean, look, Damwon, they just finish games quick. The Nuguri, the Klepto Bros to open the day. But I do want to mention something that you talked about, Ender, was the early games did struggle. Both Royal and Flamengo, who are now eliminated, made Damwon work a little harder than maybe anybody was expecting.
Right. I think a lot of people will remember, especially those teams attacking in the bottom lane position. Nuclear and Barrel definitely had a slower day 1. Day 2, it seemed to have improved. But this is a team that was largely carried by the solo laners, I felt.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a team that at 10 minutes were down 500 gold, and by 25 minutes, the game was generally over.
You see it on your screen.
You can have a look at how good these guys are at exploding the mid game. It's just all about being able to get the advantages, press into enemy jungle, deny resources. And I think Damwon Gaming are one of those teams that are you look at the map and it doesn't look like you're losing out all that heavily. Then you check gold and the Kleptos and everything else are just stacking up to huge leads.
It just explodes once they get the opportunity to play the map. Their opponents today, low-key. Now, correction, their opponents today, low-key. Later today will be Clutch and Royal. I'm getting ahead of myself. Low-key ended up in this position. We expect them to win their group. They didn't. They didn't take out HKA from the LMS. And then they get drawn against the strongest number 1 seed in Play-Ins.
This was actually, Group C was super surprising to me because it was actually very competitive. One of the more competitive groups, I felt, with Mega showing up a lot down as that 3rd seed. We've sort of written them off, but they definitely did compete. And at the same time, I also was looking at the VCS reps, Low-Key Esports, to outperform HKA, and there was a clear difference. I thought Low-Key Esports did not come in with the same creative style that I thought we were going to see from their time in the VCS.
If you don't win your group, you are going to draw that 1st seed from groups, and that's how this matchup ended up. Let's turn our attention to the second BO5 today. It is going to be Clutch. They squeaked into 1st place. I think the tiebreaker scenario definitely made some LCS fans sweat, but once the tiebreaker game against Unicorns of Love happened at the end of the day, Clutch obliterated them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you actually look at how Clutch won, I think in the end it was quite decisive. They were able to absolutely dominate Mammoth. Then in the tiebreaker game as well, it was just lights out. So this is a team that I think has ramped up as Play-In stage has gone in. It is a very young roster. They do live and die by their top laner. It does look like there is his areas to attack. But I think that they would be coming into today's best of 5 very confident.
I still say they're coming in as the favorites in this best of 5, but let's not forget they lost the best of 3 to the Unicorns of Love, all right? They got the last win, but the best of 3, definitely a loss for these guys. I think that if you're looking at how to actually attack this team, you can't really attack bottom lane. Bottom lane seems like a super, it's a rock for these guys. You have to look into the jungle, I think, especially for Lyra, who I think has just had a pretty poor tournament overall, and then sort of the coin flip nature of Huni.
Well, we will get to Clutch a little later. Let's quickly touch on their opponents, Royal, because both Clutch and Royal ramped up from the first day of play to the second day of play. And Royal, of course, coming in Nostradamus himself onward, saying, we'll lose to Damwon, beat Flamengo, win the tiebreaker, and make it to knockouts. It's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and this is a lineup that I was really hot on coming into play-ins. And I think that they had one hiccup, but every other game kind of went exactly to plan. They do like to play through the top side of the map. Obviously, going through a tiebreaker is not ideal, but this is another lineup that Seol especially got better as the tournament went on. He's going to have a fantastic performance versus Demonte today if they can provide an upset.
So there's a brief taste of the 2 best of 5s that we have in store for you today. We'll see what Royal can do against the LCS representatives. Just a quick taste for tomorrow. It's going to be Splice versus Unicorns of... I don't know why I said taste.
I don't know either.
Splice are taking on the Unicorns of Love, and these are names that European fans and viewers are going to be very familiar with, but this is not EU3 versus EU4. I despise that storyline because while it is funny and memey, the CIS and the LCL have earned this position, and I am a little nervous for Splice.
I mean, this is... It'll be interesting, for sure, because I just love the story coming into this game, especially you have former Unicorns players in Xerxes, in Vizicachi, on Splice's side, who have never made Worlds before. Unicorns also going to be their first time at Worlds, and now they have to clash, and one of them is going home after tomorrow.
And I think that a lot of people share the nervousness of Quickshot because the LCL, very famous for bringing out new comps, new styles at this international stage. Unicorns of Love, very famous for doing that. And so far, we've just seen stock standard almost. And so do they have something prepared? What have they been cooking up for Splice? It's going to be very good.
Wait. That will be the second best of 5. It will be tomorrow. But to bring us back to today and the teams who are looking to qualify for groups. And you've got a couple of key players you'd like to talk to us about.
Yeah, let me tell you Quickshot, because heading into today's knockouts, I want to take a moment to focus in on some of the shakier performers who need to step up or risk going home. First up, it's Lyra. Apart from a single standout early game, Lyra has been outmaneuvered by his opponent, leaving Clutch with a hole in the jungle. His staple Skarner doesn't quite fit the tournament flavor, and he's stumbling to find a pick that he can make work. Lyra needs to find that something, like a Kiana or a Gragas, that can give him the teamfight and skirmish tools he needs for the 10-minute Herald play without costing his laners pre-6 pressure. Across from Closer today, responsibility is on Lyra, not to necessarily smash Closer, but to neutralize and let Clutch's superior laners take care of business. He doesn't have to reinvent the game, just to play his own. Next up is Armut. While his recent performance on Fiora will leave Royal fans feeling confident in their top side, Armut is squaring up with Huni today. When push came to shove, Armut reached for carry threat across from Flamengo's Robo, but Huni is a player who would gladly match fire with fire. Today's question is, which road will Armut take, attack or defend? Is his job simply to survive Huni's onslaught, or will he rise to the occasion to match the former world finalist? Domestically, Armut is recognized for picks like his signature Jace, especially in high-pressure moments. And if this series goes the distance, we may see Armut fall back to this pocket pick to remind the world that Royal Youth are here for a reason. Now, as Showmaker and Nuguri dominated the play in groups, the bot lane of Damwon seems to be the only real weakness. Across from both Flamengo and Royal Youth, Nuclear and Beryl cracked, picking poor fights and leaving themselves exposed to attack after attack. While it's fair to speculate that Damwon were simply testing their limits or warming up for their international debut, if they're going to be the dark horse that many believe them to be, Nuclear and Beryl are going to have to revolutionize their performance to match the legendary bottom lanes waiting for them in groups. Now, those are the players who I think could decide who makes it into groups. Whether or not, it remains to be seen, Quickshot.
Absolutely the case as we reset. I mean, that was fantastic breakdown, and I think my eyes are going to be on Nuclear in particular, having known Nuclear from his old EU days as well, and seeing how Royal and Flamengo exploited it. Spawn, where are you looking?
Yeah, I actually agree, and I think that this is something that we also have to give a little bit of respect to Down One's bottom lane. They were able to play second throughout LCK regular season. There are some great bottom lane duos in the LCK, and whilst it has looked like they've been attacked early game, let's not forget that Down One's still closing out games in 30-odd minutes. So this is a lineup that can scale into team fighting. Beryl, not necessarily the laner, looking to unlock him onto the map in that mid game, and they are doing their job for the Down One lineup.
Yeah, and also remember that while they're losing on the bottom lane, Nuguri and Showmaker are just exploding everywhere else, right? So we'll see how well Down One can play a little bit later. Lyris, Clutch, and Armors Royal Youth will be facing off in our second best of 5 at the end of the day. And we do give a little bit of a context to this Royal Day 2 versus Day 4. We touched on it lightly, but what are the most impressive things that you see from this team and how they adapted in between days?
Yeah, I think the really important thing for Royal is they started to understand Closer's importance on the international stage. In his game where he was able to pick up Kiana, it was great. Then he got like 5 bans thrown at him, not even prioritized in the first round of jungle pickups. And the Karthus game just did not look as good. More importantly as well, the disrespect of not banning away BRTT's Draven. I think this team is learning that international events are a little bit different from domestic competition. However, in Day 4, they certainly showed that they are quick at adapting to that kind of playstyle.
In particular, I loved seeing their draft that they came into in that tiebreaker match against Flamengo, going for multiple globals with not just the gangplank, but also a Twisted Fate in the mid lane. Having that ability to sort of cheat pressure and, you know, be in 2 places at once on the map is super, super powerful, especially when you come into these games. And I think Royal would be well off to try and go for something like that.
I mean, take a look at the stats differences. Gold difference at 15, minus 2.2 to 587. It helps when you win games, of course. Drake percentage, Barons as well. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. But now the challenge for Clutch is they are coming up against arguably the strongest number 2 seed from play-ins.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to take these stats for what they are. They had Damn One in their group. Let's not forget that. So, you know, you're looking at the stats across the days, and whilst they're not that impressive, they are playing against the best team. And Clutch is that team that I think will have to be able to shut down key areas of the map. I think that it's going to be more difficult for them to play as freely.
And of course, let's not forget the fact that LCS or North American representatives in the past have taken play-in teams best of 5s to 5-game series. I remember it with C9, I remember with TSM. So it's by no means a guaranteed victory, despite Clutch being the favorites.
Yeah, and it's been the CIS region and the VCS region in the past that have been able to give North America that headache. We'll see whether today is the day that the TCL takes that next step up.
And to decide that, I am particularly looking at this top lane matchup between Huni and Armut, because we've seen both these guys go for those heavy, you know, split push style matchups, go for the carry picks in the top lane. So I think draft is going to be absolutely pivotal here. Whichever side can get counter pick and get a little bit of jungle attention to get the ball rolling, I think is going to have a significant impact in these 5 games.
And an interesting kind of area to look at for the Clutch Gaming lineup is what Huni does if they fall behind, because I feel like Huni is just a playmaker through and through. And even if his team falls behind, he will continue to look for avenues back into the game. Sometimes it can make it look like he's inting, but he is a feast or famine player. And I think that if the rest of Clutch Gaming go with Huni, play with that confidence that I've been talking about, it does set them up for much greater success.
It absolutely does. Now, of course, we will not have as much time to set up the next BO5, which is why we're going into depth with it now. And I'm going to ask you guys, before we get to the matchup, what are your predictions? Which team will come out on top and why?
So my vote is for Clutch Gaming, and I'm actually going with the dominant 3-0 for them. I think if you look at this matchup as a whole, the biggest advantage for Royal is the jungle position. We've already seen Closer get leads over his opponents, like that game against Damwon, and not be able to convert it into a lead. So I think the solo lanes and the stability of Clutch's bot lane is going to be enough to come away with the win.
And I think it's very flattering that you're comparing Clutch to Damwon right now and the inability to translate leads, right? I think that this is going to a 3-1. I ultimately do think Clutch is going to pick it up, but I do think that it is much easier to close out Clutch Gaming than it is to close out Damwon, and that's where they get their game.
Oh, let's see whether or not Royal and the TCL can actually surprise anybody. That's the predictions from our analysts. That'll be the second BO5. Before we dial back into Damwon and Low Key, we have got a little special, special plan that you didn't know you were waiting for. As Spawn is joining us here in the LEC studio, we figured we'd play a game that we do in Europe a lot, and it's Champion Charades. It's simple. Production will tell us a champion that we have to act out. I want everybody watching at home to spam in chat which champion it is, and the two who are not playing will try to guess here. Andy, you're going to be the first one because you've done this before, and you don't suck at it. We know Spawn does.
All right.
No Spawn does.
Okay, stop the setup. I've got mine. I'm ready to go.
Scion.
Tryndamere? Oh, Swain. No, Death's Grasp.
Oh, you're Mordekaiser.
What?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nicely done. Okay, all right, good. Okay, so your guessing game is good.
Yep.
So this is Maud.
Yeah, what's going on with you, Trevor? You've done this before. You should be able to figure it out.
Your acting was awful.
What? He got it so quickly. Just 2 abilities. And we instantly... Oh.
By the way, can I ask?
That's good.
Everybody in chat, can you just tell me whether or not Maud walks like that? Because that's
He's the Iron Revenant.
Right, let's give Spawn his champion.
What's it gonna be? Akali.
Oh, that is not fair.
Wait, that was so... Wait, no, he actually prepared for this. He got a tattoo just so he could nail this.
I didn't set this up, by the way. I got told that I had to do something, and...
Wait, Spawn is actually the best Champions Raids player we've ever had on the show.
I'm gonna make you do
literally
another
the
one.
best. He even had his
did not
sleeves
act.
rolled up already. That's incredible.
I was supposed to wear a suit jacket as well. This was easy.
Okay, just so you know, I don't think production and the guys planning the champion charades, because we keep it as a surprise, knew he had an Akali tattoo. So you're doing another one, despite the fact we have no graphic prepared. Right, what's mine? What's mine?
No, I think I just got given
Oh,
another
so you
one. Can
already-
you say
okay,
it again?
right.
Because Quickshot was yelling at me.
Does he know what the...
Okay.
Oh.
That was a very shocked face.
Lost person.
Drawing a circle. Nunu?
Kiana.
Swimming?
Nami. Pike.
Okay, hang on.
Doesn't have eyes.
Baron! That's Baron Eyes!
Baron?
Yes! That deserves a fist bump. Yes, thank you.
What?
Yeah.
So there was a pit, and then I came, and then I...
That is absurd. That is absolutely absurd.
So that was the Baron pit. I see it now. And the animation, I get it. So, by the way, production just trolled us. This is now League of Legends charades. It's been evolved.
Because I couldn't, I was like,
Okay, what's mine?
Baron or Garen? I was like,
I don't know.
Okay.
What is happening? Oh my god. Get away from me. Are you sure? It's still League of Legends, right?
Yes.
League of...
why is he holding his arm?
I don't know.
Just think about it.
He only has one arm. None of our champions only have one arm, do they?
Is it? It's Garen.
No.
Okay.
Is chat getting it? Can somebody check if chat's getting it?
I wonder.
Is it an age gap thing? Is it a mechanics
It has to be
thing?
an age gap thing.
Oh, he's
Angry
talking
person.
now.
Angry person. Mad.
He's Tryndamere.
Yes!
He was obviously Tryndamere. We're just trolling him.
Oh, did you guys actually make me do that the entire time?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, I think we actually do have enough time for one more. We'll make Ender do it.
Okay.
Oh, please don't gift that.
Oh.
Please don't gift that. Wait.
Oh, sorry. I was starting doing it, but it wasn't on me. Okay.
Awful, I'm out of breath. Annie.
Yeah, wait, what? That was so fast. What just happened?
That wasn't even Annie. That was
What?
Zoe.
No.
Surely that was Zoe.
No, I was skipping with my bear.
Yeah.
If I was doing like the,
So,
you know, who?
technically, I think you were holding a bear in the wrong hand.
Oh my God, that is epic.
The only reason I know it's Annie, Annie was my first main, my
really?
absolute first main. I actually had the limited edition physical copy of League of Legends back in the day. Oh man, I'm out of breath. That's awful.
You're that old?
So absolutely the case. All right, so there you go. Champion Trades. You guys can play at home. Twitch chat.
Wow.
I'm super disappointed you didn't get Tryndamere. Like, you let me down.
They surely got
Oh no,
Tryndamere.
now production's yelling at me.
Twitch
They did-
chat always gets
You
it
guys
right,
also
and they get
chat
it right
amazing.
so fast.
Our first series of the day is Damon versus Loki. Before we get serious to the pre-match, let's hear from Nuguri.
Thank you very much, guys, and thank you, Noguri, for joining me ahead of your game today. Last week, I had a talk with Showmaker, and he said you got lucky qualifying. Can you elaborate, please, on that?
지난주에 쇼메이커 선수 인터뷰를 했을 때 여태까지 담원이 운이 좋았다고 하는데 그거에 대해서 한마디 부탁드려요.
저희들 사이에서도 이제 거의 이제 저희 자국 리그 할 때도 오늘 운이 좋아서 이겼다 이런 말도 되게 많이 했고 그러니까 경기를 이긴 거에 대해서 운이 좋다고 한 거예요, 쇼메이커가?
Did Showmaker say he was lucky, like, to winning the games or about the games?
They were lucky with the way they played. They were lucky qualifying.
이제 프로에 이번 라운드까지 올라오는데 운이 좋았다고 했는데
롤드컵이 온 것도 약간 어떻게 보면 저도 운도 어느 정도 있다고 생각해서 좀 동의하고 저희가 경기를 여태까지 좀 이긴 것도 어떻게 보면 좀 초반에 좀 사고가 많이 났었는데 저희가 어떻게 잘 이겼다 보니까 또 이제 운이 좋다고 한 게 아닌가 생각해. 저도 약간 어느 정도 동감하는 것 같아요. 룬이 좋다는 거는.
Yes, I agree with him. Actually, in LCK, when we play in Korea, that's something we say a lot. I think overall we're lucky to qualify for Worlds, but also last week because we had so many mistakes in the early game. So I think we were lucky indeed.
Have you been able to address these mistakes?
그 모든 실수들을 보완하셨나요 이번에 좀?
최대한 이제 그 부분을 생각하면서 연습했고, 예, 아직 그러니까 준비 기간이 근데 그렇게 길지 않아서 그냥 좀 조금만 우리가 보완하는 느낌으로 하고 이제 오늘 다시 왔어요. 예.
Yes, we kept that in mind, but we didn't have that much time, but we tried our best.
All right, well, we'll see today. You'll be facing Loki. Can you tell me what is their strength based on what you've seen from them?
이제 오늘 로키와 경기를 하게 되는데 로키 팀의 장점에 대해서 한마디 부탁드립니다.
일단은 로키 팀에서 이제 여기서 AP 정글을 하면은 이제 앨리스 뭐 이런 거 앨리스 뭐 그라가 살려 이런 걸 하는데 로키는 이제 뭐 앨리스 같은 걸로 좀 주도적으로 갱을 잘 다니는 것 같고 탑이 이제 그 주도 앨리스 같은 거를 그 부족한 좀 이니시에이터 나 약간 좀 AD 딜 이런 걸 좀 채우기 위해서 뭐 클레드 약간 갱공도 좋고 다이브도 좋은 앨리스랑 좀 잘 맞는 짝꿍 이렇게 해서 좀 이제 다이브를 하고 탑 다이브를 해서 하거나 이제 같이 돌아다닌다거나 약간 그런 식으로 플레이를 많이 하는 것 같아요. 그건 부분이 좀 장점이 있는 것 같아요. 네.
So I think they're really good playing with AP jungle like Elise, Gragas, especially with Elise and top. They do and play well together, and they pick AP jungle and they pick AD tank with initiation with good engage because that's what you might lack when you play Elise. So I think they're really able to play around that well.
All right, well, we'll see how they can match against you. Now, I think you heard about the meme about you abusing kleptomancy. Can you tell me more about this?
이제 요새 정말 너구리 선수의 도벽 그런 밈 짤이 되게 핫한데요. 그거에 대해서 네.
제가 뭔가 맨 처음에 그러니까 처음 별명 생겼을 때부터 약간 그런 게 좀 생긴 것 같은데, 근데 도벽을 워낙 또 근데 실제로도 제가 근데 엄청 좋아해가지고 솔랭할 때도 그렇고 뭐 대회할 때도 그렇고 되게 많이 들거든요. 그래서 자연스럽게 좀 생긴 것 같은데 그런 게 좀 저도 재밌고 도벽이 그냥 제가 개인적으로 생각해 좀 좋다고 생각해서 그냥 드는 거라서 약간 좀 이렇게 뭐라 말할지 모르겠네. 도벽은 좋습니다. 네, 도벽은 좋습니다. 도벽은 사기입니다. 많이 드세요.
So I know there's a meme about me and kleptomancy. Well, you know, I played a lot of a solo queue, but also during the games. Well, I don't really know what to say, but you know what? Klepto is good. Klepto is OP. Go for the kleptomancy.
We'll remember that, of course. Thank you very much, Noguri, for the interview. Thank you, Hajin, for the translation, of course. Now back to you guys.
I absolutely love the reaction to the kleptomancy. The klepto bros themselves are about to take to the rift. And it's fun seeing a player quite passionate, quite invested, and actually like promoting klepto. Like,
It's
go out
OP!
and use it, you know? Why
Is
is
it
it OP?
OP?
Because you get a lot of money.
Well, there you go.
If you're better than your opponents, which Nuguri in a lot of games is, especially when he's in solo queues, much better, you just make more gold, and that's just good.
I
That's a
also think
breakdown.
doing more damage, having more attack speed. There are a lot of good runes right now. I'm not sold on it as of yet. In fact, it was actually taken the other day in Fiora into a Camille top lane matchup, and I think it nearly costs a Fiora the counter pick. If you just go Grasp, I think there are some better options in the current meta.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this pivots, because I know we had Soaz on the desk and we were talking about the Camille taking fleet of footwork as well and debating and discussing it. But we do have best of 5. Maybe we'll get some answers today. LCK's third seed has proved to be the most dominant team in play-ins. They are winning fast. Despite Klepto, despite Vladimir in lane, it's just this explosion in the mid game that we touched on a little earlier.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Normally when you talk about, you know, the best teams in the world playing against some of these teams, it's solo kills in the laning phase. It's the skill gap that comes out. But this isn't necessarily how the Damwon Gaming lineup plays. This is more about, you know, scaling up in the early game, picking the right comps, treating your opponents with respect, but then after 20 minutes, just taking over the entirety of the map.
Ultimately, what it comes down to is I think that Damwon just fundamentally understand pressure as a concept super, super well, especially in these moments where you can try to explode the game. And it's not like this is a brand new style, right? Where you go neutral for most of the early game and then turn it on come mid-game. We've seen that from teams like G2 used to very great success. So a couple of these factors that play into it and make it very strong is actually knowing how to use pressure and then picking the right comps too. Because a lot of the champions they take don't rely on huge ultimate cooldowns to fight. They're just very good in skirmishes, and that means you don't have to wait around these long 2-minute windows before you can fight the team one more time.
And when they do get their time, when they do pick their mark, and they get the Baron buff, they close out very quickly. Every time there's been a Baron in a game taken by Damwon, there hasn't been a second Baron. They've just been able to end the game very quickly. And this is a team that I think when they have this setup, when they get their grip really into you, it's so hard to dig them out of it.
It really is, and this is going to be the question that Loki have to try and answer today. Loki, they had a very unlucky draw. They drew the strongest opponent for knockouts, but the reason they were in that position in the first place, they weren't able to win their group, which would have avoided Damwon entirely.
And we thought in this group that this was going to be the rise of the VCS, but once again, inconsistency kind of bit them because they were able to beat HKA the first time around, then they lost to Mega. And that game meant that there was no tiebreaker as they proceeded towards the end of the group and they dropped the next game. So I think that Loki, they showed some things domestically that they haven't yet brought out, like the lane swap, like the ability to play a split map, but ultimately, their inconsistencies, their inability to consistently execute on what their game plans were was kind of what cost this team the first seed.
Yeah, you know, we did see some of the elements of creativity. At least at the start, we saw like the Syndra in the bottom lane, right? But now that's not creative. We just think that's going to be a meta pick moving forward in this tournament. So for this team, I do think they need to go back to the drawing board, bring out some of those more creative strategies like the lane swaps that you mentioned, especially if they're going up against the competition that's Damwon today.
It's so difficult to be in Low-Key's shoes, and especially for the VCS, a region that is just continuing to grow, surprise, and impress. The VCS was hoping for Low-Key to be the second team in groups, but it feels to me like Damwon might be a bridge too far. It feels to me like Damwon are too big of a Goliath in this David versus Goliath matchup, and now it's going to be interesting. We go back to one of these old narratives of how well do they play against the inevitability of the team that's going to win.
And that's why it's so disappointing for Loki, because they would be hoping to emerge, the VCS as one of these major regions. However, they don't want to be just the spoiler. They don't want to be the team that got close but weren't actually able to make impact. And that seems to be kind of the area that the second seed from the VCS is currently falling into.
All right, so now we do have a very difficult topic to broach, and that is, how do Low-Key do it? Damwon are the clear favorites coming into this match. Take a slightly different direction on this, and we're going to challenge Ender to tell us how Low-Key Esports will take down LCK's third seed.
Yeah, so it's not easy, but I stayed up I stayed up late last night, crunching the numbers, doing the analysis, trying to figure out how it happened, and I came up with a few different options. I want to start off by enabling Artifact. This guy is definitely the best player on the Low-Key lineup, and we've seen him pop off on picks like the Akali. We've seen him go for that 3 times, very high priority on that champion, even after all the nerfs that have been thrown its way, as well as another great early game on Tristana.
Yeah, he had that really good Tristana game. I can see that. I think they have to get DNK into the lane early. Splitting map versus Nuguri, however, has been tried. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, so that's my other one is I think that if you can split the map early on, Nuguri has played 2 games of Ryze, 2 games of Vladimir. These are scaling picks. They're not going to smash you inside the lane. So I think you can secure a winning top side. And then if you have another heavy pressure early game jungler that DNK does like to go for, you do have the ability to try and split that map early on and deny Nuguri. Delay him. You're not going to destroy him, but you will delay him his power spikes.
It's going to be difficult. And I mean, you already mentioned, the lane swap, as you can see, talking about it. You've brought it up, some creativity in the playstyle. Surprising the Koreans, this has happened in the past. If they're not ready for a particular strategy.
Look,
I mean,
lane swapping is a good strategy, but on the same level, it has to be trying Predator instead of Dark Harvest. On Gragas jungle, Predator is just objectively the stronger rune, guys.
There's only a couple of different win rate, however, and we do say play your own style.
A couple % of win rate is a big deal, Spawn.
Potentially.
Come on. I mean, it's insane. You have to, here's some other options, right? Start with the Predator, then trick Canyon into picking Echo. It's a bad champion. It's 0-4 already. Trick him into doing it. He'll do it, and then trick them into leaving Pantheon open. Just get him somehow. I don't care how it happens. If that doesn't work, just challenge him to a TFT best of 5 or get Kleptomancy reworked. You've got a lot of options here, guys. Get it reworked right before the show. If that doesn't happen, unplug their monitors. Maybe just yoink.
I don't think that's allowed.
You unplug their monitors and note from production, Ender, please stop. Wait, what? Bribe the script writer. You can flame them in Chal chat. That's going to bring out the pro view memes. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Enable emotes on your accounts. Just dab on the haters, guys. That was terrible. Ender, serious, please stop. Just solo kill top lane.
Actually just
solo kill jungle. Just solo kill mid. Just solo kill bot lane. Kill every dragon. Kill every baron. Ender weird champ. Destroy their nexus. Just don't lose. Why are you going away? Don't lose. Just kill all their bases. Spawn, you get out of here. Kill the base, and then you can't lose. It just won't happen. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys, is that you will not lose.
Can we kill it? Yep, let's get his mic off. That's the challenge that lays ahead for low-key esports. That's it. Right, let's head over to Jatless to take us into game.